Tayde, buenos días. ¿Cómo estás?
Buenos días, Albert.
Mira,
Perfecto, gracias.
gracias. Mira, I just wanted to let you know I'm so appreciative for you being a part of the segment today. It's all about the agents. Just for the audience out there, I had the opportunity to work with Tayde many years ago. It seems like now through the Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, and you know, Tayde has always been an innovator in starting his organization, the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, and he has grown this organization so much. And I know that you have some really exciting projects that you're working on and some new launches. But I want you to share a little bit to my audience about your story. Tayde, so you have a great story.
Hey, Albert, pleasure to be here. I don't know if it's a great story, but it is a story. And yes, as you mentioned, it's throughout my 12 years that I've been involved in the Hispanic business community, I have had the opportunity to meet a lot of business leaders such as yourself. And I want to tell you before I share my story that I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have to meet you. Was it like 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And you were doing an incredible job at the chamber, at the San Diego County Hispanic Chamber. And you were one of the few people throughout the history of our association that was open for a collaboration. And I want to tell you that I'm grateful for that, because you and I understand the value of working together and,
Absolutely.
Building coalitions and joining resources for the benefit of the small business community. So being that said, I want to thank you, and I want to make this public and in your channel. I'm very appreciative of your friendship and your leadership.
Thank you.
And about my story, well, as you know, Albert, we started the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce back in 2008 after seeing a digital divide between the general market and the Latino market. And by general divide, I mean the lack of the use of the internet as a business tool by Latino-owned businesses.
Right.
And at that time, it wasn't just like a trend or like something negative. The way that I saw it back then, and I still see it until this point, is that it's a competitive issue. So if we are not using the right tools in our business, it's stopping us from accomplishing our goals, and also for stopping us from contributing a greater scale to our local economy. So as you know the story, my first idea was to propose a technology committee to the local chamber.
Correct. And I remember that.
The idea didn't develop. So in 2008, that's when I decided to start the association. The first couple of years, we were pretty much online. Yeah. And we were just connecting with business owners through our website and offering them some of the marketing services. And stuff. Yeah. Correct. And in 2010, we hosted a business expo at the San Diego Convention Center.
Yeah.
If you remember.
I remember that. Yeah.
And after that, that's when we start taking a more prominent role in activities in San Diego County, like workshops and seminars and things like that. But our focus has always been the promotion of the use of the internet as a business tool. And I have seen, ups and downs, throughout the last 12 years, some great moments that, we see like businesses are adopting these digital tools, and then they kind of like stop from doing it. But what has motivated me to keep doing what I'm doing is like every month, Albert, since we started the association, at least there is one more Latino-owned business that is using technology and that is getting into the digital economy. And that's pretty much what motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, and it's really important what you're saying, because I think that no more time than the present is where companies have had to reshift whatever they were doing, right? And to get on some type of digital presence, whatever that may look like, whether it's a a store, an online store that they develop, or a service that they're providing online. And the fact that throughout all these years, you've talked to businesses about this, helping them create a website, helping them, build social media campaigns and everything like that. There's tremendous value that you have brought, throughout the years. And I'm sure a lot of those businesses that you've talked to maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago are in a better situation today because they worked with the organization to be able to sell or provide their services. And I think that's commendable, really, because you saw from a long time ago where the digital economy was going to be, and understanding, that our Latino community wasn't there, right? We weren't necessarily as relevant maybe as other businesses, right? So I think that you have helped bridge that gap. That is huge. That is extremely important. Now, when you sit down with your businesses and your members, Tayde, what are some of the things that you're currently advising them or doing to help support them, especially now, because I think there's a lot of relevancy today?
Albert, the first thing that I advise our members and those business owners that contact us is to really look at their financials. I mean, you would think that internet or marketing is the first thing that I ask them to do, but it's like, no, they have to pay attention to their numbers, and they have to conduct a really deep assessment of what's going on with the operation of the business, because you and I, we just saw it in the last 3-4 weeks, where all the PPP and all the relief loans that were available for small businesses, a lot of businesses in our community were not able to get these loans, or right now they're probably in the waiting list, but because of that lack of financial planning, like having the right documentation in order to submit the application. So the first ones who got the loans were those that were working with
had everything together. Right.
Exactly.
Correct.
They got the news about the loan. They called the CPA and said, and I'm applying for this. Within 2 hours, they had everything ready to submit their application.
Correct.
And in our community, we're like, I have it in an Excel, but I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to submit it. And I don't know really how much payroll. And, so the first advice that I'm giving them right now, as a result of what we're going through, is like, you must have a very solid financial foundation in your business. It doesn't matter how much money you make a month, just have a very solid foundation there, because that's going to be like the foundation that is going to help you to keep growing.
Right. That's essential. That's essential for their growth, right? As a business, or even maintaining some type of profitability and knowing, what your payroll is, what your sales are, what is my rent, like all these different things. And you're right, because, you're working with a lot of small businesses, right? Some even, what you would consider micro businesses, and, they could be very loose, right? In terms of that information, but you're right. They weren't prepared necessarily to be able to submit.
And right now, when the dollars are short in the business, this is where they're paying attention to everything that they're doing. So I hope that they keep this new trend or this new behavior as part of how they run their operation. Because, there are many reports out there that shows you that the majority of Latino businesses, they make less than $1 million. I mean, there is only like 3% of the 4.6 million Latino businesses that are in the US that make over 1 million. And it's not because we don't have high quality products or services. It's just because we either don't care or we are not prepared to start scaling up our operation. Correct. And that making it to the first million is really complicated. And then 3 to 5, it's another threshold that is difficult. After 5, things starts getting very easy, and that's when you can start growing at a faster period. But right now we are in a very unique situation that it's forcing small business owners to pay more attention to how they're running their business. a lot of them are going to have to shift completely to where they were doing before COVID-19. Some of
Right.
them, some of them are going to have to transform their business model to adopt. Well, I don't like to use the word adapt, but to be able to compete in the new environment. We know that we have some challenging months ahead of us, and right now we don't know how exactly the economy is going to behave after everything is fully open.
Right.
It's very hard for the specialists to predict what's going on. What's going to happen after everything goes back to normal. But there is one thing that I know for a fact that is going to happen, and you and I were talking about this a few minutes ago. It's like the digital economy, transactions online are just going to go, and we're going to keep growing higher and higher every month.
Higher. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter in what industry you are, what product or what service you sell, you must have a digital presence, and you have to have that digital presence in a way that makes sense for your business, because every business has unique peculiarities, like characteristics, you know?
Correct.
So you're gonna have to get either support from a consultant or do your research in a way that can help you to stay competitive, stay profitable, just like you said earlier, because you don't want to be in business just to, you know,
no, you need to make a profit.
You have to make a profit, whatever that is, but it has to make sense for you. And this is the moment now that right now, as we are in our homes, you know, quarantine and waiting for this to pass by, this is a time where we need to start conducting a very honest assessment of what we have been doing with our business and the direction that we want to go after this, because we know that consumer behavior is changing. And we can go with some basic stuff like buying groceries online. I remember asking my wife to buy groceries online like 3
and she was like, no way, right. Forget it.
I want to feel my tomatoes. I want to smell the oranges.
Right.
I want to make sure the avocados are firm, you know. And now look at what's happening with Instacart and all those online stores. Right. Groceries online is the fastest items that have been sold over the last 6-7 weeks. Right.
Their sales, grocery sales have gone up. You know, they were talking about it like 25%. I mean, it's just been insane.
It's insane. Absolutely. And now all these moms are like, oh my God, like I don't have to spend an hour at the store, and I'm actually like getting good deals and good products. So consumer behavior is changing in many different industries, and as a business owner, you have to acknowledge that and start thinking about how you are going to respond to that consumer behavior. And the other thing is, like, I mean, when you talk about consumers' age and demographics, locations, etc., there are certain age groups that after this they're going to be like zero retail shopping. I mean, they were probably doing like 25%.
They're already trending that way. They're maybe trending that way, but now it's going to be completely like, this is all I'm going to do. Right.
Exactly. And if you see, you know, like the millennials age and stuff, like they are the groups that are dominating right now in the marketplace in terms of like purchase behavior and stuff. So it's kind of like the perfect storm for the digital economy to grow, and small businesses need to be prepared for it.
Well, and that's a very good point, because, you know, with a lot of my viewers from the segment, you know, a lot of them are insurance brokers, as you know, and, you know, they are talking to small businesses every day, right? And all of these businesses are having challenges. And what I found is that, you know, insurance is an essential business, right? Because right now, especially, you know, clients are calling to know about their policies and all these different things. And, you know, it's an essential business. But one of the things that I found is a lot of my agents have also had to adjust and understand, like, I can't be in front of my client, right? I can't necessarily, you know, go through the proposal and so on with my client in person. I have to find the virtual way of doing it, right? Or the client saying, well, I need to access information on my policy, but I need to do it from a cloud-based system, or
Mm-hmm.
how can I integrate? So we've seen the shift. I'm doing it, right, because I'm virtually talking to my clients now, because I can't go out, and maybe I'll send them a lunch, and we'll have a virtual meeting or something like that, just to kind of get that camaraderie. But I think you're right. I think that businesses are going to shift, and those that have not shift, they're going to have to be able to stay relevant, right? And I think one of the things that's really important about your organization is that, because of your vast membership, and it's not only in California. I mean, you have, Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce is really on a national platform. All of these clients that you have, they can support one another, right? Because you have a CPA or a bookkeeper, and you have your, small restaurant or catering company, and you can make these connections within each other, so they can help support, right, one another. And I think that's a very important point, because you're creating kind of a synergy, right, within all of these small businesses.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because, over the probably the last 5 years, I have seen this behavior to be more active within our association. And that's like that collaboration, or that business deals happening, with folks in the East Coast, with business owners here in San Diego. So when I start seeing that trend that growing within the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, I thought about, like, it should be a way where it's not just with Hispanic owned businesses,
Right,
so it should be like in a bigger scale. And that's how we came out with the idea of creating the United States Business Association of E-Commerce, that we're going to be launching in June. But it's with
amazing. That's amazing.
But it's with that philosophy in mind that you just said, that, right now we are seeing this exchange of relationships and transactions happening online right now throughout COVID-19. And because we're in so much need for the specific stuff, we don't care, we don't get it from. Right?
Correct.
Like toilet paper.
Right. I don't care where I'm getting it from. Right.
But I'm going to get toilet paper.
That's it.
That's it. So,
that's exactly it.
So right now, it's like, when we were talking earlier about consumer behavior changing, I think right now a lot of consumers are going to be like, you know what? I feel like I want to eat fish tacos.
Right.
When I'm in the middle of Nebraska, where am I going to get fish tacos?
Where am I going to find a fish taco? Yeah.
You're going to Google it, and then you're going to find our friend Hector Casanova here in San Diego.
Right.
That is already starting to sell fish tacos online as a result of COVID-19. And they are going to be able to have delicious Baja style fish tacos in Nebraska because of what is happening right now. So when you think about the opportunities, I mean, right now we're going through a crisis, but this crisis is creating opportunities for many small businesses, and they need to start thinking creative. And when I mentioned earlier, like, conduct an assessment of what you need to do in order to participate in this digital economy, that's what I mean. Like, Hector Casanova is going to have to get suppliers, for the boxes and the vacuum bags, for the fish and stuff.
For the fish.
Run those numbers to make sure that he's going to be pricing.
Once he packages it, it's going to price it adequately for him to continue to make a profit, right? Yeah.
And everything. So these are the type of exercises that we have to go through right now, and see that the potential is like, look, there are 40,000 searches of fish tacos a month in the US, right? So if I can capture just like 1% of that, I'm going to be selling more fish tacos online than the ones that I was selling here through catering.
That's right. That's right. Well, and it's interesting because, you then see that some of these businesses don't even need a brick and mortar. right? They're not going to have necessarily the overhead of a lease and employees, right? You know, so they're going to have to shift, right? They're going to have to shift, and I think that it creates, you know, a lot of different opportunities. And I think you brought up a really good point. I think the way that we are buying products, the way that people are looking at consuming and consumption and everything, that is really going to be impacted, because people are just, and because it's going to take a while to be able to feel comfortable, right, to go out and do business as you were used to doing business.
Albert, and there is one thing that really excites me, and this is more from when you look at the macro economic impact of growing the digital economy. China is a great example of what could happen here in the US if we really embrace e-commerce and we really embrace the digital economy. China was able to grow their middle class thanks to everything that has done Alibaba and all those online marketplaces, because they were able to create business opportunities for very poor areas in China. For those guys living in villages and stuff, to sell their products and services to, you know, metropolitan areas within China. But those dollars were going to those communities, and those communities were able to grow financially. So that's how they were. I mean, there are many other factors, but it was one of the main reasons why there are so many, or the middle class grows so much in China. And I think that we can accomplish that here in the US, especially now, you know, with so many people applying for unemployment and many people losing their jobs and stuff. They have the opportunity to think about that creative idea that they have in the past to launch a business. This is the opportunity to do it, and they're going to be able to enter the market with a very minimum investment, and they're going to be able to reach out a really big audience. I mean, if you think about the number of online buyers that they're going to be by 2021, which is going to be more than 2 billion buyers worldwide. Think about that. I mean,
the market is huge.
328 million in the US. And if you can think like, oh, I can sell my stuff to like 2 billion potential. It depends on what you sell, of course.
Depends, right. But we're also so innovative, right? I mean, in the US, I mean, we come up with. I mean, you see it, right? We watch Shark Tank and we watch these shows, and you watch all these products that come out, and so innovative that you're right. I mean, the opportunity, if you have a good product or a good idea, you know, you could really sell it, you know, in a global market. And I think, and when you talk about, you know, your new project, which is really exciting, you know, this national e-commerce association, you know, you're taking the opportunity to not only bring, you know, all types of businesses, but also other, you know, diverse businesses, right, all together, to be able to benefit from this e-commerce and this digital economy. And I think that's going to have a huge impact. And you know, in a way, your timing is extremely important. I think it's a great time to be able to bring this, you know, this bridge. But I know it's something that you've been working for a long time. You know, it's not like something that came up yesterday.
Those projects don't happen overnight, and it's pretty much like, you know, all this work that we've been doing over 12 years. I mean, I have learned a lot from the work that we have done with the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, and now, I mean, when we have made a lot of mistakes also, like many mistakes and many expensive mistakes, but that has helped to build this new concept that it is going to allow us to create a business ecosystem where businesses can benefit from. It's not just a sexy name to say like, oh, US Business Association of E-Commerce. No, we have a digital platform. So the moment that you become a member of the association, you will get automatically some benefits from it, which is like your microsite. So you can, you know, promote your products or services with an online catalog. People will be able to contact you through the CRM that is integrated in the platform. I mean, it has different tools incorporated into your membership, online tools, which at the end of the day, for us, the most important thing or the most valuable thing that we can provide to your business is new deals, give you the opportunity
Absolutely.
to generate business.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and we are so confident about what we are capable of doing that our memberships are monthly. They are for the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, and they are going to be for the U.S. Business Association of E-Commerce, because we don't want anyone to be forced to stay with us for a year. If they are like after 3 months or 4 months, they're like, what am I getting from this?
I'm not seeing value. Right.
I don't see zero value, and I already paid my membership for a year. So none of that is in either one of the associations. Again, our commitment is to deliver results, some type of results within 30 days, whether it is an introduction, an advice that we provide you, like you contact us, you say, like, I've been struggling with Facebook pages, I don't know anything about it. Oh, let's schedule a call. We'll give you 1 hour consulting, and that will pretty much cover the $19 that you are paying for the month, right? So
$19 is what the monthly costs?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, like how many people pay that on an app, right? Exactly. And they're not getting as much value as that. I mean, that's
and also, like, besides the online tools that you have access to, it's also the effort that we're putting behind the brand and the organization. So you may be spending $500 a month in marketing. The association is expending 10 times more in marketing. Right. So you will get more eyes, because people will go to or whatever product and service, be like, oh, I have like 3 options for a specific product, and then you'll be able to contact them there. We're going to be highlighting the businesses through our different platforms. So to some extent, we're kind of like a marketing ally to your business, and the more content, the more substance that you give us, the better for us to utilize all the know-how that we have in terms of like digital marketing and digital exposure and stuff. The more content that we have, the easier for us to promote your business. And you know that I've been doing online marketing for like over 15 years, and when I was growing the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, my consulting as a digital marketer was how I survived, and that's how I brought the bacon to the house and stuff.
Sure, absolutely.
But in that time frame, I've been able to learn a lot, and also what I have learned from the businesses, the many different businesses in many different industries that have joined the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, is knowledge that we are putting to the benefit of the membership, of the family that joins the association.
It's really a community. You're building a community of business owners that can all benefit from one another. And I compare that to like my gym, right? It's a local gym in San Diego, and they've done such a good job in just building a community, and they've took that same idea and then have done it on a virtual base, right? Where they have some of the members that have moved, let's say, to Italy or Spain, and they're watching the workouts, and and they're doing it, but everybody feels like they're a part of a community. And I think that's really what you've created, right? Is you're creating a community of business owners that all are in similar situations, trying to figure out how they can grow their business. But you're giving, but in addition to that, you're giving them the resources and the how, right? You're just not taking their membership and saying, hey, I'm going to connect you here. No, what is it that you need, and how can I educate and provide you information? Because that's what's really been a true value that you've always done, is that you've always provided education through your webinars, through, I mean, you've, from day one, I think it was never a pitch about like, oh yeah, join us. It was like, hey, here's some information and how I can help you grow your business.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's where we have spent the most of our times, like with seminars and workshops. And as you know, like my goal was over the last 12 years to get the support from different organizations that could allow us to provide those seminars and workshops at no cost to the community. But we know that they have a cost, like the presenter, the venue, etc., the appetizers, whatever you provide on those seminars, because I also learned that seminars without food, they were not as successful as the ones with some type
Right,
of speakers.
right. Everybody likes to eat.
Yeah,
Everybody likes
everyone
to
likes to
eat.
eat, especially Latinos. So
Yeah.
yeah, but at the end of the day, for me, what motivated me to go through all that hard work, it was like, if from this seminar there is one person that actually does what they learned today, it pay by itself, you know.
Absolutely.
And you and I know that when you are a part of an association, sometimes there are people that are more or they feel more comfortable networking, and they love to go
Sure.
to networking events and stuff. So
Sure.
when I launched the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, I realized that we were getting like the same people in the first event.
Uh-huh.
And that's when we switched to like, well, if we're gonna get the same people in the first, I mean, every month, at least we're gonna provide them with a different topic every month so they can learn something different.
Correct.
But
Correct.
to my surprise, that was kind of like the key of success, because we start driving different
New
people every
people.
month,
New people. Right.
based interested on the seminars and stuff, and we never pitch them like membership or anything at these events. They joined because they felt like it was a good thing to do, and that's how we start growing our membership as a result of the workshops and the seminars that we hosted here in San Diego.
You know, and this is really where I think, you know, the value add, right? And I would, you know, recommend for my agents that are out there, you know, a lot of them are looking, right, to connect with business owners. And I think the opportunity of joining, you know, your associations, it gives them an opportunity. So I would highly recommend, you know, a lot of the my agents and small business owners that watch this, is that, you know, if you're looking to really build your digital presence, you know, look at some of the resources that the Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce has, and the Hispanic, you know, the National Association of E-Commerce that you're launching here in June, is going to give a lot of people an opportunity, right, to connect. And I think that's a lot of value that you're adding. So listen, Tayde, you know, with everything going on, and, you know, when I speak about my clients, you know, being insurance brokers and small businesses, you know, what kind of advice would you give at this time to you know, my viewers? You know, what would you add that they should be looking at and doing?
Well, I think for agents, Albert, investing in your personal brand is key. The more familiarized business owners are with a service provider, the more trust you have right there. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have heard a professional service provider saying that they were able to close a deal just because people found them online, and they already felt comfortable like 60% because of what they just found online of
Right.
that person,
Right.
without having a conversation. I was like, oh, I like Albert.
Like a trust, like the
Yeah.
trust, like it was a trust.
Yeah.
Right.
I like Albert. He looks like a cool dude. I'm gonna call him because he's offering, I mean, he's selling insurance for businesses. I need insurance for a business, and I would like to be talking to a person like that, right? So I think for agents right now to invest on, if they don't have, I mean, they don't have to have a social media presence in every channel out there, but if they start working
Correct.
on their
Right.
LinkedIn, and they pick another one like either Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, I think that's going to help them to start building that personal branding. That is definitely going to help them to close more business. And it's going to be a differentiator also for them with the competitors. You know, if they have,
Sure.
if they become a source of knowledge, and they share their experience through their digital platforms, when people are searching for insurance for their business and they find them, maybe like, oh, this guy looks like very knowledgeable, even on top of like whether I like him or not, like sounds like he understands what he's talking about, and
Right.
and I need someone like that with that expertise as part of my team, because insurance agents are part of the business team.
Right.
And putting together, you know, you are the quarterback and you want to have a good offensive line, a good defensive line, to keep moving, you know, throughout the field. So investing in your personal branding is key for agents, and also they need to start understanding what are the most common ways of communication with the businesses that they are connecting with. And I'll give you an example, because this may sound a little confusing, but let's say that right now everyone is using Zoom, but a lot of Latino business owners, even members of our chamber, was like, no, I don't want to download the software, and you know. So I was like, oh, well, but what if we do like a video conference through WhatsApp? Yeah, that's easy. I know how to do that.
Because they're using WhatsApp on a daily basis, right?
Exactly. So your agents need to start getting familiarized with what their clients feel more comfortable with, in order to keep that line of communication open and streamline it and comfortable for the client. Because imagine if you're a business owner and you have an agent that says, hey, send me a WhatsApp. If you have any questions, like just press the video button and I'll be available to you. Be like, oh my God, that's really cool. I'll do it every weekend with my kids and my friends. So that level of familiarity, I think, is going to be important when it comes about digital tools, that we start using the ones that we feel the most comfortable with, so we can start dominating.
So you can continue to interact with your clients in platforms that they're comfortable with.
Exactly.
That's great advice. Yeah.
And great advice. And getting familiarized with what your customers are comfortable with, give that extra competitive advantage, because I mean, how cool it is if someone asks you, like, I don't know Zoom, but I have WhatsApp. Oh, definitely. Or if you give them that option right away. So I think for your agents, and especially because of what you told me earlier, that CNA has invested so many hundreds of thousands of dollars in your digital platform to be able to get a quote of any type of insurance in minutes,
any business,
and then driving that to one of your agents. I mean, that's key. So your agents need to be on top of things and at the same level that the company is, from the digital standpoint, and everything has been very local when it comes about e-commerce and digital. So your agents dominating a specific keywords within the market, like for example, like restaurant insurance San Diego. And then you get like CNA agents popping up on the first page of Google. Guess who they're gonna call? Like the first, well, I need to check like in the last 3-4 weeks, but usually like the first result on Google, it gets like 40-45% of the traffic for that specific search.
Wow. So even the little tweaks in specific industries that they're targeting or whatnot can just drive content to their site and whatnot.
And also one thing for your agents to know is like every search is based on your IP address, right? So if you're in La Mesa, doing a search in La Mesa, or doing a search in downtown San Diego or north part of the city of San Diego, the results are going to be different because Google is trying to provide you relevant results,
information from that area.
You are the geolocation, right? And also if you're running a search from your phone, depending on the area code that you have, and if you're using Wi-Fi or no, you will get those results. So imagine if you're an agent in La Mesa, California, or in El Cajon or whatever, and you start dominating the keywords for insurance for those specific geographical location. I mean, CNN
it's gonna just continue to drive business.
Exactly, organically without paying a dime. It's just like right now, if I could run a search right now for a specific insurance, and you will see videos, photos, the Google map. So you have all those opportunities. So that's why I'm saying, like, I mean, the ideal is that your agents diversify in terms of like how they brand themselves,
their content, and how they're branding themselves. So
but I do understand that some of them will be like, I don't like Twitter, it's like, I don't like it. That's fine. But if you just think about, like, right now I can do a search, like for example, I can Google my name and you will see like the Twitter feed popping up in the first page of Google.
That's true. Yeah.
So from there, like, think about this. I have a tweet where I have a link to my online, like,
To
hey,
your online,
call your insurance, da da da. So it's getting indexed by Google just because of that tweet. So you can drive organic traffic to your agent's
to your
page
agents.
because of what you're doing online. So you are not just, you're not going to be investing in ads, but you are investing in content that can be turned into clients because of what you're doing. You can have a video, a YouTube video, in El Cajon, you know, you shoot it with your phone. Hey, I'm right here in El Cajon visiting my client, you know, tacos on Tayde.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, try them out. They're delicious.
Right.
We're so grateful to have them as clients, protecting their investment. Make sure to check it out, guys. Put that video on YouTube, share it on Instagram, share it on Twitter. Good marketing for your client. Good marketing for yourself. And just think about it. Like, if you're a restaurant owner.
How simple is that? I mean, it's just, you do it anyways, you know?
If I'm a restaurant owner and I stumble up on that video and be like, this is what the agent is doing for me. Like, I don't even know my
I need to work. I need to work with him. Right.
Exactly. Like, I fill out the form online and I don't even know who my agent is. So I think, like, digital is going to keep growing, but those personal connections are still going to be very important, very relevant.
Right.
So we need to keep nurturing them through digital platforms.
Correct. And that's you know, I'll leave you with you know, one of the things that I think will always continue to be important in business itself is business, whether it's in insurance, whether it's whatever business you're in, it is always going to be about having a relationship, right?
Yes.
Because we go digital doesn't mean that you're still going to value the relationship that you have with that trusted advisor. So I think that's the one thing that your organizations have always been focused on, is building relationships. And I think that that's what's going to drive, you know, profit, is continuing to build those relationships. Whether you do it in a virtual setting, I think sometimes it's just easier because you could build it with people across the country, you know, and so on. So listen, Tayde, this, as always, it is really such a pleasure to connect with you. I really do appreciate you taking the time, sharing your story. I think that the advice that you've offered, you know, my agents and the people that watch the segment is huge, you know, about, you know, looking at your brand, how do you expand your brand, how do you improve your brand, is extremely important. And I look forward to the launch in June. And you know, CNA as a company, we're looking forward to working with you in any way that we can. But most importantly, as a friend, I just really appreciate what you're doing. I'm proud to see what you have accomplished, and I'm ready to see you on that national platform soon. So this has been really a good opportunity to talk with you. So I thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Albert. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your leadership and everything that I have learned from you over the years. And you know, we're still young. We still have a great future ahead. And
we're just starting.
Exactly. We just need to keep doing. I mean, you're a very passionate fellow like I am, and we just need to keep following our passions and trying to do some good for this world.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Thanks again. I really appreciate your time, Tayde.
Thank
Alrighty,
you.
take care.
Bye.